you get over 100 quote-unquote national security advisors, quote-unquote deep staters coming out and saying there's a problem here, maybe that means we're doing something right. And of course, who are they coming after? One of our own in many ways, someone you've heard on this broadcast over the last couple years, many times, multiple times a week, one of our Sekulow broadcast partners. Of course, I'm talking about Tulsi Gabbard. And this letter, here it is right here, has almost 100 people essentially saying, you can't pick Tulsi Gabbard. She is a national security issue, has all these problems. And of course, Will, this comes out of the latest one of these as they keep trying to chip away at President Trump's picks.
That's right. We know that they've already come after Matt Gaetz and now Pete Hegseth. And now it seems like the deep state's latest target is Tulsi Gabbard. This letter, which is, Logan, you mentioned, is signed by nearly 100 former national security officials. Do you remember the last time we had a letter signed by over 100 national security officials? When was that? Oh, yeah, the Hunter Biden laptop. They said this has all the trappings of Russian disinformation.
Right, nothing to see
interfering in our election. Don't look at it. Now we get another letter from national security experts that say Tulsi Gabbard has too close of ties or ideology to Russia. Why is it that the only thing that these national security experts can do is try to create Russia hoaxes? This is another one. We're looking at it, and we're not going to stand for it. But it also, like you said, does tell us maybe he's picking the right people. If the deep state is so freaked out that they have to write a letter to John Thune, the majority leader-elect, and Chuck Schumer, the current majority leader, really pressuring them to scrutinize her. They all but say that she's a Russian asset in this. They use very diplomatic terms, and it makes sense. There's many ambassadors and former ambassadors on this list of people.
They said that she would be the least experienced person in this. This is someone who has been serving our country for 2 decades, who has been actively serving in the military for 20 years, who has been deeply involved in politics, has been one of the top names, has been the vice chair of the Democratic Party, who has done a lot. This is not like someone brand new that they've never heard of. This is not a favor. This is someone who has extreme amounts of actual background and history, so much so that you can really dig in and look into it. Of all the things, that's the one that I go, why are we playing that card?
I want to go into Wendy Sherman for a little bit. Because
to clarify, Wendy Sherman is like the lead writer of this letter.
Yeah, she is the top name on here. Honestly, compared to the Hunter Biden laptop national security letter, that had a lot more recognizable names on it. This, most of them not really known except for Wendy Sherman. And even to many of you listening, you may be like, I've heard that name. Who is Wendy Sherman?
Yeah, I don't even really.
I'm going to let you know. Wendy Sherman served under Hillary Clinton and John Kerry as Undersecretary of State for Political Affairs in that role from 2011 to 2015. So she is a creature of the deep state. She also worked under the Clinton administration. She's a longtime swamp creature that has been in D.C., pushing Democrat foreign policy at the State Department for decades. Now, she was the lead negotiator for the Obama-Iran nuclear deal. That should tell you a lot. Maybe that's why she doesn't like someone like Tulsi Gabbard. We uncovered that, that she knew that the State Department was funding an organization run by Mahmoud Abbas's son of the Palestinian Authority that was interfering in the Israeli elections. So our State Department was funding this NGO that had a benign name, One Voice, that was trying to do humanitarian work. But what we knew it was Mahmoud Abbas's son, and they were actually buying ads and doing things to interfere with Bibi Netanyahu being reelected as prime minister. This was also under the Obama administration. We uncovered documents that she was on email chains that knew that this was going on, even though the State Department told Congress they had no idea this was going on. So she is a swamp creature.
Yeah, not a friend.
She is not a friend of conservative foreign policy, America First foreign policy. She very much is a globalist and has that mindset of appeasement to many of these people. And just the fact even the Iran nuclear deal's chief negotiator alone should tell you, one, why she's maybe afraid of someone like Tulsi Gabbard getting in there and disrupting the intelligence state that spies on Americans, that enables the military-industrial complex, yeah, I would probably say Wendy Sherman wouldn't like that, but that's exactly why Tulsi Gabbard should be the next DNI.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at that list and you see those names, sure, you may not recognize them. And what I want to make sure is clear, though, is they can make waves. They can make news. We have to take this seriously. It's easy to kind of laugh off people like this when you look at who's on that list, and clearly they're not going to be any friend of any conservative. But they're going to specifically go after ones that they feel like they have an opportunity to take down.
But you see people like Wendy Sherman that are trying to weigh back in and try to force her views on Trump cabinet picks now by sending letters to Senator Thune and Senator Schumer. Is it time to turn the page on that foreign policy that has led to such disastrous results around the world?
Yeah, let's be very clear-eyed about Wendy Sherman. Wendy Sherman has been at the forefront of most every single failed foreign policy that we've had. Her reputation is called "What do you want, Wendy?" because when she goes into negotiations, she gives everything away. She's been duped by North Korea. She's been duped by Iran one too many times. She is literally the symbol of weak foreign policy. She helped create this global chaos, and then she left the State Department. Wendy Sherman should be completely dismissed from American foreign policy. She's proven to be a failure and a weak negotiator over and over. She's made us less safe. So that should be the end of the Wendy Sherman tenure. The reality is that unless you have tough diplomats and a State Department that's willing to do diplomacy, you have the situation in Washington where the Pentagon and all of the individuals who believe in power tend to be the ones who drive the solutions. And so I think that it's important for President Trump to have a very tough senior diplomat who's talking about all of the peaceful solutions. At the same time, I recognize you've got to have a very prepared Pentagon. But what I would say to Marco Rubio, what I would say to Michael Waltz, and to Pete Hegseth, you must give the president peaceful options, not just military options. I'm very concerned about that, and I will be very vocal about that. We can do sanctions. We can do isolation. Tariffs are another peaceful way. There are tools here, and I'm confident that Donald Trump will be looking for those peaceful tools.